Year's Championship Parade. Now back to Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, let's go. We're getting closer and closer to the parade moving through here, but even better than that, we get an opportunity to connect directly with some of the players involved. And we've talked so much, Dibs, today about how this Warriors group, especially on Thursday when it finished, you could see they're a family. They're family. All the kids coming out, the connections, the wives, the significant others on every level of the organization. And one of, I think, the guys who's been an absolute picture of that the whole time is Damion Lee. As Draymond just said, not his first time around the block. But Damion, thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations. And Steph keeps saying it, Steve keeps saying it. This one hits different. What about for you? How does this one hit?
Yeah, I mean, definitely hits different. You know, this is actually my first time winning it. I was on a two-way the last time when, you know, we got here. But, I mean, just getting that first one and just that experience of everything is nothing short of amazing.
Big year for you, obviously. Birth of your first son. You had him up there on stage with you. How powerful has the arc of this whole year been for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, it's you know, just obviously, like you said, the birth of my son. Cute out, winning the championship. I mean, two experiences and moments that I'll never forget, you know, my entire life. And just, you know, just trying to enjoy the days as I can because, I mean, it's definitely special.
Damion, especially early on in the playoffs, you were asked to come in and really cover some very big minutes. And I wonder your perspective now on how playoff basketball is different. How is that challenge compared to day in and day out regular season?
Yeah, super physical. I mean, you know, the playoffs is really when, you know, you want the game and the work to speak for itself. So, you know, super physical. You're locked in. It's more of a tactical game where, you know, you have to outthink your opponent. You know, or is it a technical game? I don't know, one of the two. It's more of a game where you have to outthink your opponent and just strategies because beating someone 4 times is tough.
What was the mindset of the team after game one where Boston shot the lights out and kind of stole home court? What was the sense of concern in the locker room following that first game?
Rewatching film, you know, we looked at it and basically just talked about, you know, we felt like we were too soft on our closeouts on, you know, those guys and just didn't bring that, you know, level of force and physicality. So going into the next couple games, especially going into game 2, that was our main thing, was just looking forward to bringing force and physicality from jump ball.
Damion, what can you tell us about your experience over the last 3 days since this went final?
I probably slept like 15 hours max. So,
yeah.
You know, we gonna enjoy it. We definitely gonna enjoy it. We gonna have fun. And then time to lock in soon.
Yeah, lock in. Not until October. We're going to give you a few months to just lay back.
I need way before that.
Yeah.
Give me like 2 weeks.
Okay, so that's it. 2 weeks and then you're back at it. What was it like from a Curry family celebration standpoint? Of course, you married to Steph's sister, and mom and dad-in-law were there, and Seth and all the babies. That had to be a pretty special Curry family party in Boston.
You know, it was definitely dope. I mean, obviously, you know, celebrating with family is always special, and you know, everyone was able to make it in town. We had fun. Great night. It was a great night.
Damion, obviously this is not your job, not your pay grade, but I wonder how important is it to the group? We're starting to hear the phrase "run it back." There are a few players out there that need to be taken care of. How important is it to the group that it's the exact same group or as close to it as possible when you guys come back?
Well, you said it in the question. The beauty of it is I don't got to make those decisions. So whatever, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's all the talks and all this stuff. I mean, we would love to do that. But I'm trying to, you know, make sure I'm still on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. How happy were you for Klay Thompson when you saw him come back in January all the way through the culmination of the title in June?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, just knowing his you know, obviously injury history and everything that he's been through. Like there was that video circulating of last year after we lost, and him with the towel over his head, and the pure joy that he has, you know, even still to this day after winning. it's been tough. You know, we both had ACL injuries, so we bond over that. We talk over that, things in life, and just, you know, the mental hurdles that you have to overcome. But Clay's salt of the earth, man. He's one of the best people in the world, and all he wants to do is play basketball and win.
Damion, whenever there's a team that works well together like this, I always figure there's something special in that locker room, a secret sauce, if you will. How would you describe that for the Warriors?
Just joy, and enjoying each other's company. I think guys really really loved each other. It's kind of like that college atmosphere, that college, you know, vibe where, you know, it feels like guys have been around freshman, sophomore, junior year. You know, you had your older guys, you had your middle guys, and then your, you know, freshmen that you brought in. So it was dope. You know, it really had that kind of vibe, that brotherhood, and sealing it off with a championship is going to keep us together forever.
Yeah. And your little brother, quote-unquote, Jordan Poole, and the impact he made in the postseason, how big was that for you, kind of you OGs, the veterans, to see the youngsters step up so much?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, just seeing his emergence from the end of last year to the beginning of this year, and then throughout the playoffs, you know, obviously there was going to be some adjustment period with Clay coming back and Jordan playing as well as he was playing, but as all good teams, as all great teams, you know, you figure it out, you know, you find a way, and then you get things done.
Damion, we'll let you get to the parade route.
Yeah, I think my bus about to pull off.
Okay, go do it, man.
Yes,
go
sir.
do it. All right, man.
Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you. Okay, appreciate you. There it is, Damion Lee.
Yeah.
Getting ready to get on the bus, Gus, and start making their way toward us right now. Marking and drum the spot. And, man, you called it 12 deep. I don't even know. Like, we can't even see from the front to the back right now what we're looking at here. And these fans are ready to let these Warriors know exactly how they feel.
And it's a perfect day for it. The sun is out and the sunscreen has been applied. And, you know, the parade is going to roll out with usually by the reverse order of minutes played. So you probably get your Chiozas and your Quinderis early. Damion Lee's bus is probably pulling out, so you want to make sure you don't miss the bus. And then eventually you get Steph and Clay and Draymond toward the back end, Steve Kerr and Lacob sprinkled throughout. This is what it's all about, Mark, being out here for this parade. Estimated crowd upwards of 500,000.
Is that so?
We might approach a million out here on Market Street today.
Wow. It's unbelievable. And again, the culmination of so many things over the last 3 years, Warriors related and just related to our world. I really continue to believe that is what sets this particular team apart. It's not so much about the basketball that they played this year. It's about the story that unfolded over the last 3 years, how that connected directly with people. Some of those things were Warriors related. Some of those things were just life in America related. So to be out here today is just a special kind of party.
And you put it beautifully earlier when you talked about post-pandemic, which the pandemic will be with us in some way, shape, or form, whatever. But 2 years ago, it was a bubble championship for the Lakers in Orlando. Last year, limited capacity for Milwaukee. We were kind of emerging. And this year, the first 82-game season with fans, with the full playoff. It actually felt like the old days again, not only because we played a full rack of games, but because the Warriors are champions again. We're back to normal, Mark.
Absolutely. You can hear the crowd behind us. They're starting to really get amped and ready. They know they're coming through here soon. Who are you looking forward to seeing especially? Like, if give me a player or two that you really want to see how they're going to react in this moment.
For me, it's Juan Toscano-Anderson.
Really?
I know the story. I actually covered him in high school. I did play-by-play for his games at Castro Valley. I remember watching this guy by the name of Juan Anderson, Mark.
Yeah.
He played at Castro Valley High. There was no Toscano yet. He was just Juan Anderson. And I remember thinking, this is a good little player.
Right.
He might have a chance to go D1. And now you skip ahead, all the stops he made. You learn about the fact that Al Addle's wife was his teacher at Montera Middle School, which is where my kids went in Oakland. I've got a deep connection. I raised my kids in East Oakland, not quite the deep East where Juan lived, but there's a pride in There's a pride in East Oakland that is prevalent.
Yeah.
And to see Juan up on the float today, is going to feel really good for me.
I wonder if you could speak to this for a minute, because I think a lot of us want to know about the dynamic, and it's real easy, depending on where you live in the Bay Area, to just kind of be like, come on, Oakland, like, this is the Bay Area's team. But this parade is in San Francisco today, and I know a lot of fans in Oakland who, it's okay, they love the Warriors. We'll make the trip across the bridge and do this today. For a lot, it's different. Oakland has been through a real one here the last 5 to 6 years. The Warriors coming over here, the Raiders leaving, the A's don't know what's going to happen next.
Are they still there?
What is this like for the Oakland Warriors fan today?
It burns a little bit because, for the Oakland fans who never wanted them to leave, and it's a small minority of fans who, I'm not going to San Francisco, forget it. Oakland has always kind of been San Francisco's redheaded stepchild, and I say that tongue-in-cheek as a redhead. I'm not a stepchild, although
got that, right.
I got that going for me, which is nice. But Oakland has always had that chip on its shoulder. Even when the Warriors were winning championships in Oakland, the Scenics would be of San Francisco, right? When we'd come back from break, they would show San Francisco. So Oakland's got a chip on its shoulder, rightfully so. And GP2 with his Oakland roots, Juan Toscano-Anderson, his Oakland roots. We are well represented by those two. And I just hope that Oakland fans, Warrior fans from Oakland, are able to put that aside and realize this is the Bay Area's team.
Wow.
And the owners, by the way, they built themselves a decent little gym down there.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
Yeah.
They're doing okay.
I think it's. I don't know if they paid the rent this month, but
I don't feel it out here today. I don't necessarily know if you would, but this is all love. This is all celebration, and I want to credit. You mentioned GP2, JTA, their Oakland roots, but I also want to credit even the big guns on this team, from Steph Curry, Draymond, Steve Kerr, Klay Thompson. I think they've done a very good job of having awareness through this entire process to come over here and continue to pay homage to Oakland, continue to pay homage to their roots, even talking fans through these playoffs in terms of how you need to be at Chase Center to create a home court advantage that we used to have. You need to do that over there, holding the fans accountable. So I think their awareness, their ability to grab everybody's hand and say, stay with us now, has been a big piece of the puzzle. And today is a day where, again, it's not saying, oh, Warrior ownership was right. It's just, it's understandable. It's fair. You did it the right way. And so let's all gather back together and celebrate yet another chip.
That's a great point. And also the idea that a lot of these players are still giving money to Oakland, charitable causes in Oakland. The roots are still in Oakland. And so, to me, all of the ill will that you could possibly feel, how can you feel ill will for this team in this setting on this day? They won a championship, 4th in 8 years, 6th trip to the finals. I don't care if they play their games in Foster City, Santa Rosa, Antioch, whatever. It's a Bay Area thing. It's worthwhile to get there. And today is just an unbelievable celebration of all that's good with the Warriors.
It's going to sound really, really cliched. You say you're really looking forward to watching JTA come through here, maybe GP2 as well, because just the story within the playoffs that he gave all of us, so much anger at Dylan Brooks when he did what he did to Gary Payton II, and you could see immediately how quickly he connected with this fan base to not only see it be okay, where it did not derail the Warriors' title chances, but to have GP2 actually get back to the court and contribute at a high level in the NBA Finals. I think very, very important to this run, to him, to this fan base, because it felt like for a moment something very, very special was going to be robbed from him and the fan base, and in the end he was able to power through it and recover quickly and celebrate with push-ups on the floor in Boston, and that is a very big piece that I won't forget of this.
Yeah, that would probably be my number 2, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because something that Steiny said in one of our changeovers a long time ago, maybe before the Dallas series even, we don't want to see any of this settled by injury or because of injury. So the fact that GP2, he missed 3-4 weeks, whatever it was, it didn't cost them a chance to go on and still compete against Boston. And I know Tatum was a little banged up, Smart was banged up, Rob Williams had the bad knee, Curry had a myriad number of maladies. Everyone was a little bit hurt but injuries were not a factor in how this played out, and I'm really happy for Gary Payton II that he was able to not only come back, but contribute.
Yeah, and then there's the other side of what we're talking about, sitting here thinking about the Oakland roots and the forgotten guys. What is this going to sound like when the Currys come through?
Wow.
I mean, because we are now talking about someone. In this moment, it feels like it's an easy answer. I think time will actually tell whether or not this is fully the case. But Steph Curry right now is either on the doorstep of saying this or it's already done. This might be the best and most favorite athlete in the history of this city.
It's hard to say that he's not there already. I mean, if you want to do your comps, Joe Montana, well, we know more about Joe now than we did when Joe played, and social media and all the rest of it is different. Players can make more of a contribution. Steph's more of a pitch man. I think Steph has surpassed Joe Montana in terms of accomplishments and love.
I agree with you.
The mix of accomplishments and love. Barry Bonds is in a separate category. He never won a World Series.
Right.
I mean, they got close in 2002. I know too soon. I don't need to mention it.
It'll always be too soon.
Jerry Rice, would be up on that same sort of level, that same mantle. And for the old school, Willie Mays, greatest baseball player ever, never won a World Series, though. So there's a certain amount of the mix of likability, credibility, and accomplishments. I think that puts Steph at the top.
Yeah, I agree with you, because there's a connection that is added to this. Not to say that Jerry Rice didn't connect with the fans. He did. Joe Montana had, even as recently as 3 years ago, the social media comment that did not sit well with people. Neither one of my teams can lose today when the Niners were playing the Chiefs. And so that's a part of this. But Steph is something different. Steph is not only the greatest basketball player in this city. He now not only has hit the marker of 4 championship rings, but I still think Steph, unique maybe to almost all athletes, because you watch what he does, and instead of just being like, wow, you're also like, how? It's not just wow, it's how.
Look, that's a solid 5.
How do you do this?
It's not wow, it's
how. It doesn't make any sense. So it feels like you're watching an athlete and maybe a Martian at the same time. You're like, this is inhuman. How? This is not possible for someone in your size to do what you do. And so we're a decade in, and I still think we're peeling back the layers of learning what it is that Steph Curry does to a defense.
And I don't think that we've seen necessarily the absolute best of Steph. I mean, you could say he's on the back 9 of his career, but he's tearing up the back 9, Mark.
Yep.
I mean, he made the turn in great shape. Shout out Matthew Fitzpatrick for winning the U.S. Open. Won me a little bit of chicken yesterday. But
good for you.
Yeah, thanks. That's a story for tomorrow and beyond. Steiny's involved in it's a hilarious tale of woe for him. But Steph Curry on the back 9, he's making birdies. He birdied 10. He birdied 11. He made an eagle on 12. He seems physically to be as strong, if not stronger. He's maybe the most fit athlete that I can think of in Bay Area history, and the defensive part of his game now has been elevated. Steph Curry, he's got a good stretch left of peak basketball.
Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game, live out at the parade, which is just about to get started. It's brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall, providing a luxurious, all-encompassing experience to address all of your BMW needs. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit. That's BMWFairfield.com. To that point, one thing that is still almost mystifying to me about this particular Warriors championship run is the fact that at no point in the regular season did we see all of these guys together. At no point did they all look healthy. At no point did Steph Curry look like the best version of himself. He talked about not hitting his goal in terms of his three-point percentage. There were stretches where we were like, he's slumping. There were stretches where Klay Thompson, you're like, oh my gosh, he's not really.
He's unclayable.
He's unclayable. He's not quite back. And then all of a sudden, the playoffs started. You snapped your fingers, everyone was healthy, and at least for most of the time, yes, Draymond, tough nights. Yes, Clay, tough nights. Yes, Jordan Poole, tough nights. But collectively, they played the best basketball that they had played all year long.
Right.
For the first time together this year.
Yeah, 18-2 start without Clay. And, we actually talked about it back then, and you were rightfully giving me a hard time because I was saying, the schedule. There's like a schedule they're playing. They're playing a bunch of nobodies. 18-2. Yeah, good start. Let's see what it leads to. You had early faith. You stayed strong throughout, and it ultimately, you're right, they played their best basketball. Even with an 18-2 start, they were playing better basketball over the last month against, Boston, a team that Draymond Green has said he wouldn't be surprised if they win a championship in the next few years.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, we talk about Jason Tatum. I think it's going to be a tough media offseason, tough social media run for Jason Tatum because the NBA culture. We want guys who are basically auditioning to be that dude. We want you to take over late in big games in the playoffs. And Jason didn't. He went the other way. I'm much more going to credit the Warrior defense for that than anything else, and the fact that Boston doesn't really have a true point guard, and therefore they're asking Jason Tatum to do a little bit too much. He almost had to get them into their offense and try to be their leading scorer, which is a little too much. But yes, I'm still very bullish on the future for the Boston Celtics. And one of the reasons I bring that up is because we also love in the NBA when someone finishes a championship run, for some reason, we like to poke holes in the run.
Yeah.
Oh, that John Morant was hurt.
He was.
We know the history. Kyrie and Kevin Love were hurt, and Kawhi was hurt. And so this doesn't mean that.
Maxi Kleber had hurt feelings one day.
That too. And then we've even seen it the other way. Oh, Toronto, nice championship. But if Kevin and Clay weren't hurt, how would that have gone? This particular run, listen, you have nothing that you can say to poke holes in this run.
No Jamal Murray.
I'm sorry. You played the NBA MVP. You took on Memphis without home court advantage. You took on supposedly the best defensive team in the West, the Dallas Mavericks, and the best young player in the West in Luka Doncic. And then you took on the Boston Celtics, where everyone said, Dibs, not only are they more athletic, they are 1 through 15, the better team.
Deeper, younger, faster, all of it.
And in the end, you dominated all of this. You lost 6 basketball games in the entire scope of the playoffs. You continued to set the record. Now 27 consecutive series where the Warriors have won at least one road game. And the stat or the fact that we uncovered that will now run into next season as well, which is that if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson
I've heard of him.
And Draymond Green start every game in a playoff series, they're undefeated.
Yeah.
They've never been beaten.
F everybody.
There you go.
And there you have it. There you have it. That's going to be my new thing.
It's F everybody else.
Oh,
Dibs.
Okay, everybody
else. You can be on his side.
Okay.
Yeah, but then
only
everybody else.
Side. And I'm part of the old media, so I'm not on his side. We know that. Hashtag new media.
Don't veer off. We're on Market Street.
No,
Dibs.
we're doing great.
You don't need to head over to Fulton. Just stay on Market Street. We're right here. It's a good day.
By the way, Steiny and Guru waiting in the wings, and my only advice, bring a hat, fellas. Those poor guys.
Holy smokes, it got hot really I mean, look at this day. Look at this day.
Are we Antioch?
I mean,
it's boiling.
It is absolutely stunning, sun-splashed, perfect, and I think we're about to start seeing the dignitaries move through here. The Cal band is up off the ground, and they are going to
band is on the field.
They are not going to miss
on the field.
They're not going to miss their chance to blow right now. So
nice.
I want to make sure everybody get your ears ready because it's about to come at you, and we'll do the play-by-play for you as players and coaches and bands.
Franco Finn is in the building.
And buggies, and show ponies, whoever else is coming through today.
Well, we got the first float coming through, and by float, I mean an open-ended bus. Jonathan Kuminga, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Kuminga and Andre Iguodala.
Iguodala.
I like Iguodala up front. 2 2.474,729. Yes, Andre. Sipping on something in a red Solo cup. Good for you, Andre. And, Mark, I tease about Andre Iguodala a lot, but what he did as a coach in this NBA Finals, truly remarkable. Andre Iguodala and JK, the old school and the new school, coming together on the first bus on the parade.
I'll tell you what, and Andre Iguodala just tweeted out earlier this morning, he sent a tweet at SportsCenter and said what? I can't run it back. So we've been moving on the assumption, I guess, based on him physically, that Andre Iguodala was going to retire this year. But Dibs, maybe not. Maybe it's just a joke. Maybe it's not. But Andre Iguodala says, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to be on the team next year?
Right.
Why not?
Well, I mean, if he's willing to do it for the vet men, as we are absolutely in a tornado of confetti. It's marking and drum, baby. Warriors Championship Parade.
Woo!
Unbelievable adrenaline out here.
Oh, the confetti is flying. And the Warriors are here. The 4th championship parade is underway. Right in the middle of Market Street in the greatest city in the world.
I tell you, Mark, you think about a parade and what it's going to be like, and if they can only win, if they can get 16 wins in the postseason, and now here we sit, and you look up, Andre and Jonathan Kuminga together atop the first bus coming down. The Cal Band is getting everybody all revved up.
Oh, look out. That's another confetti bomb. Yes, sir. So yes, that first float, Andre Iguodala right out up front. Kuminga, Wiseman.
Yes.
You're getting ready.
Oh, yes.
To watch them all come through. Just a beautiful day, sunsplash, the energy, fantastic.
This is the only day that I approve of the killing of trees, Mark, because how much paper do we have scattering?
We'll let you hear the sounds the best you can. We'll try to tell you the sights, but Market Street is absolutely covered in blue and gold confetti. The buses are lined up and ready to go. JD is going to be walking the whole parade route with us and giving us the look from the inside out. We are teed up and ready to go with bus after bus, and a very, very special Golden State Warriors team about to make its way through and say hello to everybody who has made this journey along with them.
Jonathan Kuminga up there dancing and cradling the Larry O'Brien trophy. And Mark, think about Jonathan Kuminga and how he comes to be a Warrior. KD leaves, but he allows for a sign and trade. D'Angelo Russell comes. Minnesota wants D'Lo. We'll give you D'Lo, but we want the number 7 pick. And the Warriors sit and wait stealthily in the draft, and they tab an unknown, virtually unknown, lightly tested Jonathan Kuminga, who made an impact, not a huge impact all the time in the playoffs, but think about the future with Jonathan Kuminga, double zeros as a Golden State Warrior.
The Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, personal vending machine. Just grab $1, head over, push whatever button you want. Do you want a stretch 4? Do you want a first-round draft pick? Do you want an underloved star to join your team? Whatever you need. Do you want us to pass on Steph Curry? Whatever you need, let us know, and we'll go ahead and give it to you. I make fun, but that is honestly, that's the way it's been. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been instrumental in getting the Warriors to this moment.
They're a key building block, Mark. And I think I mentioned on Friday, who are you going to call? Minnesota is who you're going to call, and that's it's a team that's been very helpful. You get Andrew Wiggins, and by the way, the Andrew Wiggins float, when that comes through,
oh my goodness,
he deserves a quadruple decker bus for the amount of impact that he has made on this team.
That smile That Andrew Wiggins smile that we did not get to see seemingly for about 7 years. We never saw Andrew Wiggins smile. We never learned about who he was. We just said, you're a number 1 overall draft pick, and you're not actually worth that. You can't be a 1 in this league. To see him come full circle and not just win, not just play good basketball, but really let the world get to know him a little bit, really just in these last 3 to 4 weeks, very, very special for Andrew.
Well, and the fact that he's turned into a double-double machine, the rebounding, the defending, the timely scoring in this finals, it just is remarkable because everyone says if Andrew Wiggins is your second best player, you can't win a championship. Well, in the finals, he was their second best player.
Absolutely.
And I believe they won the finals, Mark, unless all this confetti is alive.
I mean, there are so many people, there are so many things we can point to and say this wouldn't have happened without blank. But Andrew Wiggins, very, very high on that list, and quite frankly, obvious. Steph Curry, the MVP, but if you think back to key moments in key games where guys were struggling from the outside, what was it? It was always Andrew Wiggins with a putback, or Andrew Wiggins with an offensive rebound, or heck, in Game 5 for the Warriors in the NBA Finals, I mean, they get blown off the floor if not for Andrew Wiggins. He was the key centerpiece there. And don't forget the Dallas series where we started talking about how the Warriors two'd them to death. Instead of threes, they two'd them to death. That was Looney, and it was also Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins with the jump hook, attacking the basket. And for me, the dunk on Luka Doncic, I'm not going to say it surpasses Baron Davis because I still get goosebumps on Baron over Kirilenko. But when he jumped and he wound up on Luka, poor Luka Doncic, victimized inside the dotted lines, that dunk, to me, because it culminated in a championship, it goes down as one of the biggest, most emphatic shots in Warriors history. Wiggins on Luka Doncic.
Oh, I agree completely. I mean, you look at Wiggins, and we've always known when you're the number 1 overall draft pick, you're different athletically, but I don't think we knew how different. I don't think we knew that he had this pitch to be able to fly through the air like that and also just be disrespectful to the opponent in such a way.
Disrespectful.
We've heard it from Draymond Green, Steph Curry, when those guys, some of the best players the NBA has ever known, they look at Andrew Wiggins with jealousy in some ways because they're like, my man, do you not understand? You can do what even we can't. And for me, I'll forever think about how those guys got to Andrew. Think of how many people have tried, from Bill Self to Thibodeau to Karl Anthony Towns to Jimmy Butler and all the people who tried to get to Andrew to get the most out of him.
Yeah.
They pretty much all failed until he came and met this group.
And it comes down to culture, and it's not only the culture of the guys in the locker room, it's an organization. It's an area where Andrew Wiggins, if he goes to another market, Mark, he gets more than just a light ribbing by a slappy named Dan Dibley who came up with a K-Wig bit to make fun of the fact that he didn't always make a huge impact. Other markets would have ruined him, but here we still embraced him. We waited for those days when he would make that impact, and it was an organization that had faith in him. They knew that this is the player that he could be, and now he's a made man forever. He's a forever Warrior as a champion.
And there will be time down the road to figure out what the future looks like for this team. It's a conversation for a different day. Who knows, that day may even be tomorrow. But an interesting article written up over the weekend that talked to all of the Warriors about their future hopes. Now, they're not signing the checks, so we'll see. But Kevon Looney was saying he is dying to come back. Otto Porter Jr., absolutely dying to come back. GP2, dying to come back. And Andrew Wiggins said, I absolutely want to be with this team long term. Interestingly, the one player who didn't necessarily go all in was JP, which does not surprise me. Jordan Poole saying, look, it's too early to even think about that kind of a thing. And he's right. And so there's no issue there. But next year's offseason, there are going to be some things to financially figure out. And for Jordan, he may simply want to be able to shine at a higher level without being underneath Steph Curry. but it's a different conversation for a different day. The whole vibe of what the guys had to say speaks to the special nature of what this organization has built and the desire these guys have to stay long term.
Yeah, and the fact that they all want to run it back, and Jordan Poole, the team still has his option, so he doesn't really have the ability at this point to go elsewhere, nor would you want him to, but he's probably going to get paid a good amount of money this offseason. So Jordan Poole had to kind of play it coy a little bit because he's in no spot to make any sort of demands. But my goodness, Mark, Andre Iguodala, Jonathan Kuminga, their bus staying right here in front. This parade might take 5 hours, but I don't think anybody cares.
Nope, nobody cares at all. We did just see the first party bike has made its way through. This term was said to us in a back room about 7 days ago.
Look.
And we all went, I'm sorry, a what?
Yeah.
A party bike? But a party bike, to describe it, think of like if a cable car got fell into a bucket of bike pedals and
they had a baby.
And they had a baby. And so there's bike pedals coming out of a cable car and people in about 8 spots around pushing those pedals and moving themselves up and down Market Street right now. And it's a party bike, so there's also an inebriation sensation.
That's a buck. That's a well-earned dollar right there. We're getting some of the side vehicles now coming through. Actually, the buses, the player buses, are just being staged, Mark.
Yep.
And now we're getting the secondary vehicles to go ahead of the player buses. The Jabberwockies, who performed at halftime at Game 5, they did such a great job. They're now coming down the parade route. So the actual procession of players will be getting underway here in just a matter of minutes. And Steiny and Guru live from the parade route coming up here in moments as well. No changeover today, although it is brought to you by Oakland Police Department. We want to thank the OPD for their great support of the changeover. And, the changeover today is going to be us basically getting the hell out of the way and letting Steiny and Guru come up. Mark, we got 2 more minutes here, and then Steiny and Guru are going to take over.
Yeah, and Guru's showing up in a bright blue Warriors jacket today, but he's not going to be able to wear that for long. It feels like we're heading all the way towards 75 degrees at least out at this parade. So indeed, Steiny and Guru will be the ones to take you through the actual player buses coming through, although they're getting started right now. The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Yeah, they do.
We are underway. Andre Iguodala giving the peace sign out. And that'll get it started.
Jonathan Kuminga has a Capri Sun, Mark.
Well, he had no choice. He had no choice.
I had to get one more one-liner.
You don't know what that Capri Sun is filled with, young man.
That's true.
But a beautiful sight.
Mark, 1 minute to go. Let me just say, wow. I mean, you and I have been doing this now for 8 months, and I think it's safe to say this is the greatest day we've ever spent together on the radio.
Easy.
This is absolutely spectacular.
We are absolutely getting poured on by
Schaff,
confetti.
Baby. Libby Schaff representing
Libby
Oakland.
Schaff. She's got the town jersey, and she's heading by right now. And look at that buggy that looks like an old football helmet covered in blue and gold balloons with the Oakland flag giving the wave. A perfect job by the Warriors to pay homage to the start of this dynasty.
No doubt, Mark. And, wow, the players are rolling through. Keep it locked to 95.7 The Game. Steiny and Goo, Damon and Rado. All day, brother.
My man, Willard and Dibs out here live at the parade. But again, our coverage does not stop. Steiny and Goo are coming up next. Enjoy your Warriors.